I put to go live, if you share the screen, will it go live? I don't know.
I already shared the screen.
Yeah, but in the go live, the screen is not coming. It has come. It has come. Let me start the recording. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 6, verse 16.
Are you doing that?
Yeah, please, you go ahead. No
problem. Maybe sloka you can recite, next onwards I'll take care.
Okay. Dhyayatascharanambojam.
Dhyayatascharanambojam.
Bhavanirjita chetasa.
Bhavanirjita chetasa.
Outkantyashru kalakshasya.
Outkantyashru
kalakshasya.
Asin me shanair hari.
Hridi asin me sanair hari.
Dhyayatascharanambojam.
Dhyayatascharanambojam.
Bhavanirjita chetasa.
Bhavanirjita chetasa.
Outkantyashru kalakshasya.
Outkantyashru kalakshasya.
Hridi asin me sanair hari.
Hridi asin me sanair hari. I'll take over. Dhyayatas charanambojam.
Dhyayatascharanambojam.
Bhavanirjita chetasa.
Bhavanirjita chetasa.
Outkantyashru kalakshasya.
Outkantyashru kalakshasya.
Hridi asin me sanair hari.
Hridi asin me sanair hari.
Synonyms. Dhyayata, thus meditating upon.
Dhyayata, thus meditating upon.
Charanambujam, the lotus feet of the localized personality of Godhead.
Charanambujam, the lotus feet of the localized personality of Godhead.
Bhava Nirjita, mind transformed in transcendental love for the Lord.
Bhava Nirjita, mind transformed in transcendental love for the Lord.
Chetasa, all mental activities, thinking, feeling, and willing.
Chetasa, all mental activities, thinking, feeling, and willing.
Outkantaya, eagerness.
Outkantaya, eagerness.
Ashrukala, tears roll down.
Ashrukala, tears roll down.
Akshasya, of the eyes.
Akshasya, of the eyes.
Hridi, within my heart.
Hridi, within my heart.
Asit, appeared.
Asit, appeared.
Me, my.
Me, my.
Sanai, without delay.
Shanai, without delay.
Hari, the personality of Godhead.
Hari, the personality of Godhead.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Translation, please repeat. As soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead,
as soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead,
within my mind it transformed in transcendental love.
With my mind transformed in transcendental love,
tears rolled down my eyes.
Tears rolled down my eyes.
And without delay, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna.
And without delay, the personality of God Shri Krishna
appeared on the lotus of my heart.
appeared on the lotus of my heart.
Purport.
The word bhava is significant here. This bhava stage is attained after one has transcendental affection for the Lord. The first initial stage is called Shraddha, or a liking for the Supreme Lord. And in order to increase that liking, one has to associate with pure devotees of the Lord. The third stage is to practice the prescribed rules and regulations of devotional service. This will dissipate all sorts of misgivings and remove all personal deficiencies that hamper progress in devotional service.
Yeah, continue. When all misgivings.
When all misgivings and personal deficiencies
You're not able to hear you so clearly.
Is it clear now, ma'am?
Yes.
When all misgivings and personal deficiencies are removed, there is a standard state in transcendental matter, and the taste for it increases in greater proportion. This state leads to attraction, and after this there is bhava, or the prior stage of unalloyed love for God. All the above different stages are but different stages of development of transcendental love. Being so surcharged with transcendental love, there comes a strong feeling of separation which leads to 8 different kinds of ecstasy. Tears from the eyes of a devotee is an automatic reaction, and because Sri Narad Muni in his previous words attained that stage very quickly after his departure from home, it was quite possible for him to perceive the actual presence of the Lord, which he tangibly experienced by his developed spiritual senses without material sins.
Om Tat Sat. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Mugam Karodi Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Mande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataga Swami Niti Namini. Namo Acharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradayine Gaurakata Damadaya Nagaragramatarine. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyadi Paschatya Desatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. So here Narada Muni, as the small boy, he is going into the forest and he is freshening himself up with water. Then he is sitting under a banyan tree. And he tries to meditate. He is not trying, he is meditating based on the information which he has received through intelligence. He is meditating on the various informations which he has received from the pure devotees who are the Bhakti Vedantas. So when he was absorbed in this meditation, as soon as I tried to, so it was, we saw that he meditated through intelligence based on the information received from a spiritual master. So he's gathering a lot of, like when we listen also, we get many new things so beautifully when we listen to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada's lecture. Mainly when we are hearing from spiritual master, it certainly has special effect. So as soon as I began to meditate upon the lotus feet of the personality of God with my mind, with the mind, then he is also meditating on the mind, with the mind. So with the mind, the intelligence will give the clear indication of what actually is Krishna consciousness. Who is Lord? What is this? It is not only sentimentalism. It also involves intelligence. So we saw that, and then mind is, through mind also is meditating. So subtle and gross body, every indriya should be used for the service of the Lord. Every indriya has a duty, and that every sense must be utilized in the service of the Lord. So he's also using the mind and intelligence. So even Krishna tells to Arjuna that you involve your mind and intelligence in me, that is the highest absorption. After that, he says that you physically do service. After that, he says that if you cannot do that, there are 4 continuous slokas in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna is giving gradation, 4 or 5 slokas. Gradation by gradation he is giving. 4 totally. The topmost is first is telling Arjuna, please absorb your mind and intelligence in me. Intelligence and mind in me. If you cannot absorb your intelligence and mind in me, then you continuously do physical service too. You do physical service. And if you cannot do that physical service unto me, donate the result of your actions to me. Give donations like that. And if you cannot give donation to me, you're not interested, then the last is at least give it to somebody else. Donate to somebody else. Don't try to enjoy the result of your action. At least donate to some welfare activities. So in this way, Krishna is giving gradation. In that topmost gradation, topmost grade of devotees, is telling those who involve their mind and intelligence in service of Krishna. They can engage the other 3 people. Other 2 people, especially devotees in Krishna conscious movement, when they start absorbing their mind and intelligence in Krishna, and according to the order and the instruction of spiritual master, they become leaders and they can involve others in engaging their mind and intelligence as other leaders, and also train them. If they want to do physical service, there are various varieties of Krishna conscious services available involving in that kind of services. Better to create leaders, and they cannot create leaders, at least and create many devotees who will do service and engage them in various kinds of services. And third is, if they cannot do that, at least make them a life member, make them buy a book, and give some part of their earnings as for their own purification to give to Krishna conscious movement. And if that cannot be done, then they will do social service. It's up to them. Prabhupada didn't encourage us to go into the 4th grade. But here we see that both mind and intelligence in Narada Muni is involving. This is the very high class, because is initiated by such top class Bhaktivedantas. So what happened as soon as, not like Guru Maharaj, not like somebody meditate for a very long time, nothing. Guru Maharaj, it was mentioned that how he meditated by step by step by step. We'll come across that in Bhagavatam. But here you see, with my mind, immediately the mind transformed, and immediately, very, very quickly, my mind transformed in transcendental love. Tears rolled down my eyes, and without delay, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna appeared on the lotus of my heart. So Narada Muni is having darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna very quickly, as soon as I began. Very, very important to see that. As soon as I began to meditate, not that when I entered my meditation. Generally, meditation gives result to the end, right? But here, as soon as I start meditating, immediately the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna appeared in the lotus of my heart. So Narada Muni is having darshan so quickly. So here in this verse, the word bhava is used. So here Prabhupada is mentioning bhava nirjitaha, nirjita, mind transformed in transcendental love of the Lord. So this bhava is attained. It's a stage. It's a very high level stage, just before prema. We all are practicing Krishna consciousness to get Krishna prema. That is the motivation. What is the motivation to perform, to become famous among devotees? All the devotees must see, I want this and that. And people just stray around in their own realm. But actually, when chanting the 10 offenses to the holy name, we say that in order to attain the desired success, why are we chanting? Is because we want to attain Krishna prema, which we have lost. We have become envious of Krishna. But the heart, which is so transformed, crooked by lust, greed, envy, and anger, and this materialistic desires, should transform into prema-filled mind, heart, which is Krishna prema, is what we are hankering for. So this Krishna prema, just before the prema stage, is the bhava stage. So here, Prabhupada, beautiful purport. It is the gist of nectar of devotion. So people are doing here Bhakti Shastri, and though some people have studied the nectar of devotion, somebody have completed Bhakti Shastri, but you should be very, very clear. The academic study, you get the certificate, but we see that the understanding still is not clear. If the books are not studied with genuine interest, rather simply hearing some classes and passing the exam. So it shouldn't be like that. When there is an opportunity to read the book, we should listen from Prabhupada. Prabhupada is the best teacher. He is the author. So the author is speaking through his purports. More than the person who is presenting the Bhakti Shastri class to you, the more important is the purport of Prabhupada, where directly Prabhupada is speaking to you. So this advantage has to be taken. Otherwise, it's just for a formality, we get initiation. For a formality, we get the certificate. Then we cannot reap the full result. So here you see that the word bhava is very significant here. This bhava stage is attained after one has transcendental affection for the Lord. So one develops a great affection for the Lord within the heart. Then the bhava stage appears. But here, the bhava stage directly appeared for the Narada Muni. As soon as he starts to meditate on his Guru Maharaj's description about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he started meditating upon, and the Lord is in the heart. He also knows that there is the Lord who is accompanying. Of course, Krishna is Goloka, Vrindavana, he is there, but one information he has got, Brahmeti, Paramatmati, Bhagavaniti, Satyate, Bhagavan, Lord's effulgence is everywhere, and Paramatma is situated within everyone's heart as a friend. Then Narada Muni tries to take advantage. The same Krishna, his expansion is present within my heart. Then let me connect. And what happens? Directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in front of me. So the word bhava is significant here. This bhava stage is attained after one has transcendental affection for the Lord. So here Prabhupada is explaining one stage by one stage, which is explained by Rupa Goswami, which is instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The science of Krishna consciousness is revealed here. So how Krishna consciousness develops? Many people think that, oh, I read book, I get jnana, then Krishna consciousness will develop. I can control my mind by chanting, my mind control by yogic process. Meditation means yoga, right? So internally they have that jnana and karma. So, but bhakti is jnana karma yanavridam manukulyena Krishna. The definition of bhakti itself says that jnana and karma has to be removed. It shouldn't be there. But we wrongly think, so that is the reason for bhakti. No, bhakti is not dependent on anything. Bhakti is independent. Bhakti means devotional service, not devotion, devotional service. So when we perform devotional service to pure devotee, and then the pure devotees shower their mercy and then impart the knowledge of Krishna consciousness and explain about Krishna and the process and engage us in the systematic process of Krishna consciousness, then it happens. So what is the first stage? So we will see all the stages in this purport, which is actually part of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And there also Sanskrit is not given, but original Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu has Sanskrit, and Rupa Goswami's instruction given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which was converted into nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction in Chaitanya Charitamrita, has the complete Sanskrit words of these stages. So as I'm a devotee, what is the scaling? I'm a devotee, I start chanting. Now, how will I know I'm progressing or not? What are all the various levels of transformation which we will undergo? That is the scale, the unit of measurement and the scale is given. So, Adau Shraddha. So here you can see that the first initial stage, Prabhupada is explaining this in English. The first initial stage is called Shraddha, or liking for the Supreme Lord. And Shraddha. Liking for the Supreme Lord can also be, the Shraddha word also means faith. Faith, Shraddhavan, the one who develops faith. So faith is the first stage of Krishna consciousness. Neither jnana nor yoga, control of mind. Neither knowledge nor control of mind. But rather, investing our faith in the lotus feet of the, if not the Supreme Lord, the pure devotee. How? Adau Shraddha. Tata sadhu sangha. Second is sadhu sangha. In order to increase that liking, one has to associate with pure devotees of the Lord. Associating with devotees is one thing. Associating with pure devotees is another thing. We should understand the difference. Of course, in Krishna conscious movement, everybody is pure devotee only. How? So this question was asked to Prabhupada. One time Prabhupada said he was asked to do something. Then Prabhupada asked the disciple to do something. Then disciple said that, how can I do that, Prabhupada? Only pure devotees can do. Then Prabhupada said, you are a pure devotee. Then how I am a pure devotee, that person asked. I don't feel it, I just started, how I am a pure devotee. Then Prabhupada said, in a tree, there are many mangoes. And some mangoes are kacha, some mangoes are pakka. Like you have unripe mango, raw mangoes. Of course, it will be bitter, but mango is a mango. You can make achar out of it, but you cannot, as it is, eat. Raw mangoes are also there, and there are ripe mangoes full of juicy liquid fluid is also flowing nectar. And that ripe mangoes also will be there in the tree. But this kacha mango, this raw mango, will someday ripe. So about to be pure devotees also can be called as pure devotees, because Prabhupada taught us how to perform Krishna consciousness without expectation and to benefit others, preach. These kind of attitudes are the very wonderful symptoms of pure devotional service. So pure devotional service is personal expectation will not be there, but benefiting others, this habit will be there. Now for the personal growth, they won't work. They will work for helping others, and personal growth will be a byproduct. These are all very wonderful symptoms. Many other symptoms of pure devotional service is there. We will see gradually. So in order to increase, so Adav Shraddha, this is the first stage. Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Ata Bhajana Kriya. So in order to increase the Tata Sadhu Sangha, associating with pure devotees, hearing from spiritual master, becoming attached to spiritual master. This kind of sadhu sangha is very, very important. Pure devotee, we cannot analyze, we cannot judge. But we know one thing, I'm going to take initiation from the spiritual master. He has well proven to be an excellent disciple. And now he is proving as an acharya and the person who has contributed. Then we know that, okay, his devotional service is manifesting. And then we can say, Palena Parichayate. Prabhupada said that, see the phala. And then from that, he can understand who is pure devotee, whose effect. Devotional service effect, whose surrender to Guru is working, creating disciples, devotees. So one should attach, one should associate with pure devotees. So first is Adav Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha. The third stage to practice the prescribed rules and regulation of devotional service. Bhajana Kriya, this is called Bhajana Kriya, where the Guru instructs during the initiation. Even before that, we start practicing for years, at least 1 or 2 years nicely. Guru Maharaj is telling minimum 6 months to get shelter and minimum 6 months to get initiation. So minimum at least 1 year, non-stop 16 rounds, following regulative principles, offering yoga to the Lord and taking prasadam, reading books. Reading books is very, very important. Sometimes I see that devotees are very nicely caring for the deities, but they're not reading books. Then they won't have a proper understanding of Krishna consciousness. So this is Sadhu Sangha also includes Prabhupada's purport. So I don't have association. Nobody can complain because you have the books. That is the best association Prabhupada is giving by purports. He is mutually conversing with us in the purports. So one should read books every day. All of us should make it a practice, at least half an hour to 1 hour. Not apart from hearing from the Srimad Bhagavatam here, you should have your own personal reading time. At least half an hour. That is the minimum. 1 hour is a reasonable good time. 1 hour every day. Some people can read for 2 hours, 3 hours. That's also good. But if we are busy with the duties, then at least a half an hour to 1 hour we can spend. We have to spend for reading the purports. So Sadhu Sangha. Tata Bhajana Kriya, the following the rules and regulations of devotional service, mainly chanting 16 rounds a day, and then following the 4 regulative principles. Apart from that, reading books and offering some services, attending some programs, hearing some lectures. In this way, these regulative prescribed regulations, and mainly follow regulative principles and chanting 16 rounds is a must. And worshipping Krishna with Arati, dressing him, and doing some service. This will dissipate all sorts of misgiving. One involves in this 3, having faith, and then accepting the spiritual master and associating with him by hearing and some service, and then following Bhajana Kriya, the rules and regulation given by the spiritual master after initiation. So first we get some faith on the spiritual master, then we take initiation from spiritual master, and in initiation Guru Maharaj gives us the rules and regulations to follow. So Adav Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. So this bhajana kriya is practicing Krishna consciousness, is bhajana kriya. And when we practice bhajana kriya by initiation and instructions, then what will happen? Anartha nivritti. The fourth stage is anartha nivritti. So by doing this, this will dissipate all sorts of misgiving to remove. Anartha means misgivings. All personal deficiencies and all dirt which we have accumulated for millions of lifetimes, we have stayed away from Krishna, and many lust, greed, envy, anger, this, that, many anarthas, sleeping late, getting up, this, that, so many problems. I like coffee, what to do? These kind of kachra will be there. All these will be dissipate all sorts of misgivings and remove all personal deficiencies that hamper progress to devotional service. Acharyas gives the various hamperings, disturbing. What are all the disturbances? Same is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to same Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction as an elementary study. We are seeing all the misgivings. What are all the misgivings? Atyaharascha prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha jalasangasya laulyamscha sadvidam bhakti vinashyati. How the bhakti will be vinashya? Oh, not because I am standing and chanting. I'm walking and chanting. While chanting, he is talking. So, no, that is your own mental speculation. Prabhupada also was talking while chanting. So, what do you think is achar, prachar, acharya? Acharya means he will practice and preach. So, he is teaching us to be casual while chanting, rather than taking it to be a very heavy meditative process, so that when an ordinary person sees you, he will think you're a great person, you are doing this chanting, but he will never take up chanting because only great people do. Common men cannot do. So you have to practice Krishna consciousness like any other common man can take it up easily, so that the other person will get inspired to take it up, rather than you do it as a very great extra process to show your devotion. Then people will think, oh, he's very wonderful. Sir, you can do, I cannot do. Sir, very wonderful, you're a great person. I'll follow you, you want some money, I'll give you. So gradually they will even leave. If they take up also, they won't progress. Till initiation, they won't progress, because they feel it's too heavy. So it's very important. So Prabhupada was doing. So what is actually the misgivings? Hriday Grandhi Nibandhanam. What is that Hriday Grandhi? What are all the deficiencies of the heart? What are all the problems? This explained by Rupa Goswami, the 6 problems which are dangerous, which will bhakti vinashyati. The bhakti will vinashya. By definition, we should know. By Shastra, we should know. Not by mental speculation, and common men will talk. Oh, when the common man speaks, I understand. Oh, even this you will understand. Very simple. Very simple. 6. Atyaharascha prayasascha. Eating more than necessary or accumulating more than necessary. Necessary we can accumulate. Necessary we can eat. But more than necessary. Atyaharascha prayasascha. Prayasa is too much endurance. I have to achieve that. So I will day and night, I'll work hard on this, and then I'm frothing like anything. Like the dog froths the whole day running here and there. But it doesn't have any work. At least some bull is working. If it froths, okay, it's pulling the bullock cart. So the bull is frothing. Even if a donkey froths, there is some meaning because it is carrying the load of the washerman. But the dog froths for no reason, because it doesn't do any work. The dog doesn't have any work, but it's fully busy the whole day running here and there. So that is the situation of the material world. Running here and there. So automatically, according to your qualification, things will arrive at your doorstep. You have to accept it. And you have to casually take up profession, like casually any other person of your caliber. Whatever is your caliber. As simple as very grand. Whatever is your caliber, accordingly take up the profession like anybody else, and then just be one among the common society at the same time practice Krishna consciousness. This is what our Acharya Parampara is teaching us. That is how Prabhupada was also there. He didn't take sannyas in the earlier stages. He was running Allahabad pharmacy. So the misgivings, Adho Sraddha, Tadat Sadhu Sangha. So as the Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Anartha. What is Anartha? Atyaharascha, Prayasascha. Prayasa means too much endurance for achieving things. Atyaharascha, Prayasascha. Prajalpo. Prajalpa means unnecessary talk. Not satsanga. Sat means the eternity. Talking on the spiritual subject matters. Sometimes we see in the name of counseling, 2 hours, 3 hours talk will go on. It will be nothing to do with Krishna. or spiritual life, or instructions of Goswamis or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. No. And the person who is giving the counseling will be totally unqualified to give the counseling. He may be from some other ashram, but he will be giving a counseling on another ashram without any experience. So these are all anartha only. Atyahara, this prayasascha prajalpa. This is prajalpa. It is not guidance. Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha means niyama agraha. Niyamagraha, niyamagraha. There are two meanings to this word. Following too much of rules and regulations or giving up the rules and regulations totally. Too much strictly following the rules and regulations is also niyamagraha. And totally ignoring the rules and regulations also are niyamagraha. So double meaning is there for this. So both are negative to devotion. Both will destroy devotion. Too much strictly following the rules will also destroy devotion. And very lethargic, very casual, not following the rules and taking it very casually will also destroy the devotion. So we should take according to, sincerely follow the rules and regulation without voluntarily breaking them, but at the same time, based on the time, place, and circumstance. According to the time, place, and circumstance, and the guidance of the spiritual master, we practice Krishna consciousness or follow the rules and regulations. So, Atyahara, acquiring more than necessary, Prayasa, enduring, over-enduring for materialistic things which is non-attainable or little difficult to attain. Atyaharasta, Prayasasta, Prajalpa. Prajalpa is without talking something unnecessary. Not for your duty, you're a receptionist or you're a counselor in the college. So you need to speak. You speak as a lecturer, you speak, no problem. But unnecessary speech, Prajalpa. Niyamagraha. Sometimes we see even among devotees, they will talk about each other, that Prabhu, they did this, Mataji, good, sometimes glorify, sometimes defame. All this will happen. Prajalpa. Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha is following too much rules and regulations or totally ignoring the rules and regulations. So this is Niyamagraha, Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha. Here, dissipate all misgivings, Anartha Nivritti. So in that Anartha, we are seeing now the 6 kinds of Anartha. So most of you would have studied Nectar of Instruction. So I need not go to elaborate into it. It's a very elementary book and a simple, small book. And all of you kindly read it as soon as possible. And most of you are doing Bhakti Shastri or done Bhakti Shastri, you should know by now. Not simply by heart and get the mark, but just understand what Prabhupada is saying there. Atyaharasta, Prayasasta, Prajalpa, Janasangasya Laulyamscha. Janasanga, mixing with men who are too very attached to women, mixing with the men, common people who are very lusty, greedy, like this. Basic mixing has to be there when we go to college or school or office, or neighbors may be there. We may live in an apartment complex. We may need to attend the meetings. These are all agreeable, but unnecessarily associating with them, going out and spending time like this unnecessarily, Janasangasya should be avoided. Laulyam is greed. Greed for things. Greed for anything. Greedy. There must be a laulyam for Krishna. That is possible. Other than Krishna, laulyam for materialistic achievement, materialistic desires. Laulyam cha satvidam. In the 6 types. Bhakti vinashyati. Bhakti will vinash. So here, anartha nivritti is explained. So we saw the 6 kind of anarthas. So Prabhupada is explaining the 6, the stages of devotional service. Adav Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Vadana Kriya, following the chanting regulative principles which are given by Guru Maharaj in the initiation strictly. And then anartha nivritti, all kind of anartha will be gone. And these anarthas will go away from us. Automatically they will go away. When you chant nicely under the order of spiritual master and follow the process which is given by spiritual master. So when anartha nivritti is over, then standard faith in transcendental, Tata Sadhu Sangha anartha nivritti syat, Tata Nishtha, fixedness will come. And asakti will come. Then increase. First, fixedness will come in Krishna consciousness. Then it will increase. And then ruchi will come. This rati, ruchi, and So here we have Ashakti. What is that? Adha Sraddha, Tada Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Priya, Anartha Nivritti Syat, Nishtha, Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhava, Prema. These are all the stages. Ashakti, Ruchi. The Ruchi, Ashakti. Nishtha. So when Nishtha is standard faith. Prabhupada is translating as standard faith, transcendental matter. Nishtha. Then Ruchi. Ruchi is taste. And then it leads to Ashakti. Ashakti means attraction. This stage leads to attraction. Each of this is a technical term. Attraction. And after that, Bhava. The previous stage to Prema. So after this, there is Bhava, or the previous stage to Prema, which is the unalloyed love of God. All the above different stages are but different stages of development of transcendental love. The stages to attain pure love or Prema, Krishna Prema, the stages are given here. The first stage is developing faith in two things. One is in Guru and Krishna. Faith only is required, not information, knowledge, this, that. No. Mind control, nothing. Simple. Have faith on the spiritual master and have faith on the information which is given. Okay, let me try it here. I am having faith on so many things. Let me give some faith, 5%, 10%, I will first give. So even yesterday, we saw that who can purchase the holy name? Who will get Krishna consciousness? Yes, Shraddhavan Jan hai. So with little faith, we are investing faith on so many things. We are investing faith on education. We are investing faith on income. We are investing faith on parents. We are investing faith in the bank and system, government. We are investing faith in so many things. The teacher who will impart the knowledge to our children, we are paying so much fees in the school, expecting that I leave my kid for 8 hours in that school and certainly my kid will come out with a lot of knowledge. What faith? So much faith you are distributing everywhere. So whenever somebody, somewhere, invest a little faith, oh, is it not blind faith? You are already blind. Om Ajnana Timiranda Sinyananjana Shalakaya. A spiritual master can open your blind eye, baby. Following the spiritual master can never be blind. Following anything else, you are driving the car on the road, that is not blind faith. That during the red signal, green signal, nobody will cross the road. And you are going very speeding when there is a green signal. What faith you have? You have faith in all those nonsense. And you won't ask a single question on that. But when somebody invests their faith on the spiritual master, a pure devotee who has proven himself, then comes the question. Is it blind faith? No, you are blind. And whatever faith you are having, all are blind faith only. But anybody invests a little faith on the spiritual master, that is, the spiritual master will open the eye and he will show. So that is never a blind faith. So this Adha Shraddha, this is what we from Shraddha only Krishna consciousness starts. Where does Bhakti starts? Buying a book of Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes people are so proud because they read the Science of Self-Realization book first. But inside the book, Krishna Prabhupada has completely written everything about Krishna and everything. But they think they're very atheistic in nature and they say that no, it's full of science. Why you need to be sentimental? Why you shouldn't? Excuse me. The first step in Krishna consciousness is faith. You have some faith on Prabhupada at least. You're having faith on Prabhupada. Then read it properly. No? Then from that you will really get to know the science, and this is the science. This is science. Step-by-step process. Earlier in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, or even before Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it became totally sentimental. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur of our Acharyas revived it. And before even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the scientific definition for Bhakti. Bhakti is written as a Shastra. The word Shastra was not applicable to Bhakti before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami is the first one to write systematic education of devotional service. He's a very, very learned. He was a prime minister of Nawab Hussain Shah, not a cheap person in the road. And finance minister was Sanatan Goswami. Great positions they were. It is not somebody cheap who came and simply wrote a sentimental book. No, It's a pakka science. So Shastra, Bhakti Shastra. Bhakti itself is very scientific. So the stage by stage development of ourselves, self-transformation, we can introspect and we can see that the self-transformation is happening. So Adau Sraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Liberty, Nishta, Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhava, and Prema. These are all the stages, step-by-step stages, where one can measure their progress. So then he gets to the love of Godhead. So being so surcharged with transcendental love, there comes a strong feeling of separation, which leads to 8 different kinds of ecstasies. That is, after Prema, there is something higher than Prema, which Lord Chaitanya alone is giving. That is called Vipralamba Bhava. Vipralamba. Being surcharged with Krishna Prema, there is an advanced stage of Krishna Prema. Strong feeling of separation, which leads to the 8 different Sthai Bhavas. They are called Sthai Bhavas, 8 different kinds of Sthai Bhavas and all. Then tears from the eye of a devotee is an automatic reaction. Here it is mentioned that Narada Muni, as a small boy, simply hearing from Bhaktivedantas about Krishna, then he also got formal initiation. Then his mother died. Then he left for the forest. And in the forest, he just took bath and drank some water, freshened up and sat under the tree. Then he tried to meditate upon the instructions which are given by the pure devotee spiritual master. And then he tried to see, okay, there's God in my heart. Okay, let me try to see him. And he tried to see, and immediately Krishna appeared within the heart. Immediately Bhava stage appeared. So tears from the eye of an automatic reaction, because Sri Narada Muni in his previous birth stage very quickly after the departure from home. So sometimes we as the devotees, we also feel when we think of Krishna, the tears flow from our eye, because how merciful he is. We will be think of various things, not our materialistic problems, and the tears come out of our eye. It is a waste water. Materialistic world, material world means Dukkalayam Ashashvatam, already signed Dukkalayam, certified Dukkalayam. What do you expect here? And if you lament for that and cry, you are the most fool. But if you think of the affection for Krishna, in any stage, or the hearing of Krishna from spiritual master, hearing of Gauranga from spiritual master, and attachment to spiritual master, these kind of things bring the tears in the eye, then that is amazing symptom. Narada Muni's previous birth attained the stage very quickly after his departure from home. Why he attained quickly? It is because he is associated with Bhaktivedanta. It was quite possible for him to perceive the actual presence of the Lord. He was able to perceive the actual presence, which he tangibly experienced by his developed spiritual senses without material tinge. So Krishna cannot be experienced with the material senses. That is also mentioned by Rupa Goswami, that Sri Krishna Namadina Bhavedrahyam Indriya Sevan Mukehi Juhado Swayameva Spurattada. So Atasri Krishna Namadi, starting from Krishna's name, his form, his qualities, his paraphernalia, entourage, anything related with Krishna cannot be perceived. Atasri Krishna Namadi na Bhavedrahyam Indriya. Through Indriya, it cannot be perceived. This material blunt senses cannot perceive the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is completely transcendental, Vasudeva, Visuddha Sattvam. But matter is external energy through which we cannot perceive the internal energy or Supreme Lord. We cannot, which is completely spiritual. They are completely spiritual. So with materialistic instrument of eyes, nose, ears, and hands, we cannot actually figure out Krishna. We cannot see him. We cannot perceive him through this blunt sense. Sevan Mukehi Jivhado. By in engaging the sense tongue in the service of the Lord, we have to engage the sense tongue. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When we engage it, then we will see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because the senses gradually becomes transcendental. Not this senses, whichever senses, the spiritual senses. So by his developed spiritual senses. So here very clearly mentioned, he has experienced the Supreme Lord, not with this material sense, but with this developed spiritual sense without material tinge. So Narada Muni saw Krishna within his heart. through his spiritual senses, because spiritual body also has a form. It is not that God alone has a form. We as a spirit soul are also not a light particle, but we are actually a personality. We as a spirit soul also has personality. We as spirit soul in spiritual realm also has form, and the form of the body is not different from the soul. The soul and the body are the same in spiritual world. In material world, you have two different things called body and the soul. But in spiritual world, there is the soul is the body is the soul, and Vigraha, Satsidananda Vigraha, the same applies for the spirit soul also. So here, Narada Muni's transcendental senses are developed, that we are getting assurance here, and through the transcendental senses, he was able to perceive, he was able to see the Lord in the heart. More beautiful verses are yet to come. What is the time now? Yeah, so this is a very heavy verse where all the stages of progress in Krishna consciousness is explained in English terms. So we have taken a little longer. I think it is worth it, because you are now knowing Shraddha, Pada Shraddha, Tada Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. So here you read this purport once more, Aram say. The first stage is called Shraddha, or liking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or faith also. And Prabhupada is mentioning it as faith in nectar of devotion, liking for the Supreme Lord. So this is first initial stage. So in order to attain, simultaneously they can happen, they can overlap. It is not that you cross the one step and go to the next step. No. First step will be there, simultaneously second step will also be happening. Gradually from second, third step will also merge. In this way, gradually it's progressing like an escalator. It's not like a step by step, well defined, so that you can, without, oh, he's already having faith, how he can associate? Not like that. It's like intermingled, but these are all from low to high stages. Sadhu Shraddha is first Shraddha, and then Tata Sadhu Sangha, pure devotees, association with pure devotees. This is the second stage. Tata Sadhu Sangha, the third stage is to practice prescribed. Bhajana Kriya, practice Krishna consciousness, prescribed rules of devotional service. Bhajana Kriya. And fourth is giving up. Remove personal deficiencies and misgivings, which will hamper in devotion. Fourth is Anartha Nivritti. Fifth is when Anartha is removed, then Nishtha, a fixed upness will come in Krishna consciousness. So there is standard faith in transcendental matter. So this Prabhupada is mentioning as fixed upness in nectar of devotion. There is mentioning as a standard faith in transcendental matter. This is Nishtha. This is the fifth stage. And the sixth stage is taste, increases Ruchi. Ruchi means taste. For it increases in greater proposition. We become greedy because the taste increases for Krishna consciousness or devotional services. The taste is increasing. And this stage will lead to Ashakti. Ashakti means deep attachment. Preeti, it is also called Preeti, or Prema is also sometimes called Preeti. Krishna Prema is also called Preeti Lakshanam, the love, the attraction. Increasing. So this stage is attraction, and which is called Ashakti. Ashakti. And then comes Bhava. After that, there is Bhava. Unalloyed love for God. Unalloyed love for God is Prema. So the fifth is, the fourth is Anartha Nivritti, fifth is Nishtha, sixth is Ruchi, seventh is Ashakti, eighth is Bhava, ninth is Prema. Only these 9 stages are given in nectar of devotion. And then Prabhupada is explaining here, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, higher stage to Prema is also explained, which is Vipralamba. Vipralamba is higher stage. So Prabhupada is talking about here 9th, 8th stage Bhava, 9th stage Prema, and 10th stage is, after development, so surcharged with transcendental, there comes the feeling of separation, which leads to 8 different kinds of ecstasy. Get 8 different. So very good. So this is what we have seen. Anartha also, we saw the 6 kinds of Anartha from nectar of instruction. Thank you very much. Rajeshwar Prabhu, would you like to add anything?
Nothing much. So this you have already experienced a few stages in this particular 8-9 step process. Firstly, the Ado Shraddha, you have faith and you have realized it initially. Then you had Sadhu Sangha. So in the Sadhu Sangha, you had a very nice chanting devotees association and pure devotees associations, devotees, variety of different levels of devotees you have experienced in this last few years, such as Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. And owing to that association, you have enabled yourself to be, consistently chanting 16 rounds every day, following 4 regulative principles. This stage, what you are experiencing currently, is called Bhajana Kriya. And you are in the almost matured stage of Bhajana Kriya, where you are going to take spiritual master, accept spiritual master through initiation process. So you already have taken shelter. And this Bhajana Kriya stage is the one when the disciple takes initiation or the spiritual master gives initiation. And as soon as you received initiation, your Anartha Nivritti Marga immediately begins because of the mercy of spiritual master who has taken over all your bad and good karmas, sinful activities, everything, and he has initiated you by connecting you to this unbroken chain of disciplic succession on the day of initiation. Like in this particular group, other than me and Shantagopi, Preeti Rupini Radhika is now crossing Bhajana Kriya stage, and she is in the Anartha Nivritti Marga she has stepped into. So these are all the practical experiences of these steps that you are undergoing, and you can observe yourself how you are experiencing these stages. And by following this Acharya Parampara, having this spiritual master, and reading the scriptures of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Lord Chaitanya book of Guru Maharaj, etc., this particular prema stage is 100% guaranteed in this very same life. They are taking us in every step into this very, very consciously and very, very, what I can say, caringly. So we have to safeguard our bhakti creeper, which has started developing in the core of our heart, and we have reached this Bhajana Kriya. So one very important thing is that you should never, ever commit a Vaishnava aparadh. The Vaishnava aparadh is such a dangerous this thing. It will uproot the bhakti creeper. How much ever it has grown doesn't matter. It will uproot the bhakti creeper totally, and there will be another creeper which would look like bhakti. That will only grow weed. That is called weed. So we have to safeguard by pouring water and nourishment. At the same time, remove the weeds. Pouring water and nourishment is your experience through chanting 16 rounds every day, following 4 regulative principles, and plus this Srimad Bhagavatam class and Bhagavad Satsanga and daily Guru Maharaj class, listening to that, reading Srila Prabhupada book, worshipping Gaurnitai, eating Prasadam, and discussing this Krishna Katha, not only hearing, but also talking to neophytes. To neophytes, you can, introduce Hare Krishna Mahamantra and ask them to chant. As soon as you are initiated, you are a bona fide personality to run your but up to that, you can practice that spiritual leader, or you can also introduce Hare Krishna Mahamantra to others. In this way, you can start serving Guru, because shelter is a period wherein you practice how to serve Guru in the mission of Srila Prabhupada while maintaining yourself in the Krishna consciousness. So here you can assist Preeti Rupini, and she can run the Bhakti Vriksha, so like that, and under the bona fide guide of me and Shantagopi and Guru Maharaj. So this is very important stage that you all have reached, that you have matured in the Bhajana Kriya stage. And I would like you to simply remind the experience that you yourself have undergone so far. Please avoid Vaishnava aparadh by all means. Rest everything will automatically fall into place. Actually, everything is in place. We are only not falling into place. So that is our problem. So we will fall into place. Then we will see everything, things as they are. Thank you very much. So is there any questions, comments, or realization?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you 16 slok से तो बहुत चीज प्राप्त हुआ। भाव शब्द प्रारंभिक अवस्था चाह कहलाती है। चाह को बढ़ाने के लिए शुद्ध भक्तों की संगति करना जरूरी होता है। और तीसरी अवस्था में भक्ति के विधि विधानों का अभ्यास किया जाता है। इससे सारी आशंकाएं दूर होती है और भक्ति पथ में अवरोध उत्पन्न करने वाली सारी त्रुटियां हट जाती है। लेकिन इसमें लास्ट में दिया हुआ है कि दिव्य प्रेम से अभिभूत होने पर वियोग की प्रबल अनुभूति होती है, जिससे 8 प्रकार की विभिन्न उर्मियों की उत्पत्ति होती है। तो ये 8 प्रकार की विभिन्न उर्मियां क्या होती है?
या इसको बोलते हैं सिम्टम्स। सिम्टम्स जिस तरह ये 8 प्रकार का जो सिम्टम का बारे में गुरु महाराज जो है उसमें चैतन्य क्लास में बता रहे हैं। अभी तक चल रहा है वो 8 प्रकार का जो है, जिस तरह आंखों से पानी निरंतर आते रहना और व्हाट यू कॉल 8 सिम्टम्स जो हम एक्सपीरियंस अनुभव कर रहे हैं वो 8 सिम्टम्स है। वो क्या क्या है? शांत गोपी, रिमेम्बर?
Yeah, some of it I remember, like the body will shiver, then the
हाँ, कभी हंसना, कभी रोना,
stand on
कभी
end.
बॉडी में ऐसा
I
शिवरिंग
can
होना।
give the list if you want, but या भगवान का प्रेम हमारा देह में है तो हम देह में ये सिम्टम्स आएगा। तो एक तो रोना है, एक तो कंटिन्यूस like a syringe like this outside, extraordinary, not like regular crying. So rona bahut rona hai, और rona mane water is coming from the eyes, and then shivering of the body, and unnata, like acting like a mad person, then fainting. I can give the 8 symptoms. There is no problem. Standing of the end and sweating very heavily. There are 8 symptoms, which is symptoms of prema, which won't be ordinary, which will be very, very different than normal people. It cannot be imitated. वो इमिटेशन नहीं है, वो naturally वो आएगा, वो तो प्रेमा के बाद वो आएगा, and due to vipralamba, due to separation. So it is mentioned here, वो separation के बाद gradually one symptom will start appearing. Gradually one symptom will appear, but all the 8 symptoms, if they are together, then the person is said to be in bhava. And only pure devotees can recognize this. In West Bengal and all, some people will imitate this. Nimai, tell this in Hindi.
Yeah, हाँ, ठीक है। So जो अपने जो शरीर के ऊपर का जो रोम खड़ा हो जाना, पूरा रोम जो है वो खड़ा हो जाना, ये एक सिम्टम है। उसके बाद आंखों से जो क्या बोलते हैं, टीयर्स को क्या बोलते हैं हिंदी में? आंसू बहाना। आंसू केवल ड्रॉप करके छोड़ना नहीं। चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने एक्सपीरियंस करके सबको प्रैक्टिकली बताया कि जिस तरह बारिश आ रहा ना, इस तरह दोनों आंखों से जो है टॉरेंट ऑफ रेन आया। वो महाबाबा स्टेज में आता है, पूरा एक साथ होने के बाद महाबाबा कहलाता है। तो आंखों से पानी आना मतलब रोते ही रहेगा, रोने का रोएगा वो, और इतना रोएगा कि उसको हमेशा जो है उसकी आंखों में पानी भरा रहता है और कुछ दिखाई भी नहीं देता उसको, इसकी वजह से। तो इस तरह वो है अपना भगवान श्री कृष्ण का जो पद्म पाद के ऊपर पूरा मेडिटेशन में चला जाता है, और उसका जो हृदय है वो एक बहुत बड़ा लेक को क्या बोलते हैं, जो
निर्मल हो जाता है,
पुकुर की तरह उस पुकुर के अंदर जो जो प्रेम है, प्रेम का जो भाव है, उससे भरा हुआ एक पुकुर की तरह अपना हृदय हो जाता है। उसके बाद उसकी जो मन है उस कुकुर के अंदर डूब जाता है, और ये जो रेगुलेटरी प्रिंसिपल, जो नियम वगैरह को भी वो भूल जाता है, क्योंकि वो नियम तो फॉलो करने के, वो बॉडी की अपनी देह में जब तक मैं ये देह हूं करके जरा सा भी महसूस हो रहा है, तभी हमें 4 रेगुलेटरी प्रिंसिपल्स को फॉलो करना होता है। तो ये भाव महाभाव स्टेज के ऊपर जब जाएगा, ये 8 सिम्टम जब आना शुरू हो जाएगा, ऑटोमेटिकली वो ये रेगुलेटरी प्रिंसिपल से बाहर हो जाएगा, तो उसके बारे में वो सोचेगा भी नहीं। सो इस तरह धीरे धीरे उसको क्या बोलते हैं उसको, दिव्य भाव जो है वो अनुभव करना शुरू करेगा जब वो अपनी इस देह के अंदर होता हुआ। तो दिव्य अनुभव जो है, प्रेम का अनुभव इस भौतिक शरीर के अंदर जब वो महसूस करता है, तब ये 8 सिम्टम जो है दिखाई देता है, और वो बाहर भी दिखाई देगा। जिस तरह से रोम वगैरह खड़ा हो जाना और आंखों से आंसू आना, कभी हंसेगा कभी रोएगा, उसके बाद वो रोल करेगा कि नीचे, और नाचेगा, गाएगा, कृष्ण का नाम गाएगा क्योंकि उसका रुचि भी आ चुका है, वो छोड़ नहीं सकता है, और उसका मन जो है पूरी प्रेम का सागर के अंदर डूबा हुआ होता है, और वो प्रेम का सागर उसकी हृदय में रहता है। तो ये है सम 8 सिम्टम का बारे में जो है श्रील प्रभुपाद जी बता रहे हैं। और आप लोग जब भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में पढ़ेंगे, उसमें एक एक सिम्टम का बारे में बहुत विस्तारित रूप में दिया गया है।
धन्यवाद प्रभु।
I have put in the chat, but not the 8 symptoms, but I got somewhere. I think it is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita tells us that tears, pride, joy, faith, madness, trembling, patience, humility, melancholy, perspiration, hair standing on end, and flattering of voice are natural symptoms of ecstatic love of God. In that, certain things are put together.
I will put the 8 symptoms.
Okay.
ये रूपा गोस्वामी ने भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में दिया है। वो इंग्लिश में है, भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु। हिंदी के अनुवाद में आप लेंगे थे, आपको
better get the book, because they have to go through Bhakti Shastri anyway and they will know it.
Okay.
And let Prabhu get the book, but that is advanced. First he should read Nectar of Devotion. पहले आप उपदेशामृता पढ़िए, उसके बाद ये भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु पढ़िए। उपदेशामृता बहुत छोटा पुस्तक है। Saurav, kindly get Hindi version to your father.
चैट में भी डाला हुआ, मैं भी चैट में डाल दिया इंग्लिश में।
Okay.
ये रूप गोस्वामी ने जो बताया है, चैतन्य चरितामृता tells us that tears, मतलब आंखों से आंसू।
No, that is wrong. What you have put is correct. That is not wrong, but that is a little detail.
ओके, वो रूप गोस्वामी ने जब वो बताया उसमें भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में एकदम मतलब ऐसे हो जाना कि जैसे कुछ स्तंभित हो जाना, ठीक है, एक्सटैटिक लव की वजह से स्तंभित हो जाना, और सांस जो है बहुत जोर से सांस लेना, उसके बाद रोम रोम का जो खड़ा होना शरीर के ऊपर, उसके बाद उसका जो आवाज चोक हो जाना, आवाज जो है बहुत ही फाल्टरिंग हो जाएगा, उसके बाद बॉडी में जो है बिल्कुल एक किस्म का जैसा वो शिवरिंग होता है ना, ऐसा हो जाएगा उसको प्रेम की वजह से। उसके बाद ये बॉडी का रंग जो है वो बदलना शुरू हो जाएगा, बॉडी का रंग बदलना शुरू हो जाएगा, और आंखों से आंसू बहता ही रहेगा। उसके बाद ये है 8 सिम्टम और डिवास्टेशन। सो इन चीजों का जो पूरा भौतिक सारे सर्वनाश हो जाता है उसके मन के अंदर से। सो ये है 8 सिम्टम जो भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में बताया गया। बहुत ही अच्छा सवाल है, बहुत ही एडवांस्ड क्वेश्चन है, लेकिन जो भागवत पढ़ रहे हैं उनके लिए ये नॉर्मल क्वेश्चन है। और इसका जो विस्तारित रूप में आपको अगर अनुभव करना है तो श्री गुरु महाराज का जो चैतन्य क्लास है उसको बिना मिस किए अगर अटेंड करेंगे तो वो हमें पता चलेगा, क्योंकि अभी इसका जो इस 8 सिम्टम को पूरा एक साथ जब मिल करके एक साथ जब अपने शरीर से वो भाव बाहर दिखाई देता है उसको कहते हैं महाभाव। ये महाभाव का सिम्टम जो है अपना श्रीमती राधा रानी और श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु जो है वो महाभाव का सिम्टम को हमको समझाया और प्रैक्टिकली एक्सपीरियंस अनुभव करके दिखाया। तो वो सब अभी क्लास चल रहा है उसी चीज का, गुरु महाराज का क्लास में। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
धन्यवाद प्रभु।
Becoming stunned.
Yes, you
For
can
others, first
number
finding,
1, 2, 3. You can see 1, 2, 3.
standing of hairs on the body, fluttering of voice, trembling of body, changing of bodily colors, shedding tears, and devastation.
Put serial number 8, 1, 2, 3. Becoming stunned is 1.
हरिबोल हरिबोल।
Yes.
ये जो सिम्टम्स है वो कितना देर तक रहेगा?
Oh, depends.
ये जब तक पूरी तरह आप अपने सिद्ध देह यानी जो आध्यात्मिक शरीर को प्राप्त नहीं करते हैं तब तक ये रहेगा। जब उसको प्राप्त करेंगे तो वो सिम्टम का अत्यंत अनुभव होगा, वो दूसरी किस्म का होता है, वो प्रेम में।
ये इनिशिएशन लेने के बाद आएगा ये सब।
यस, ये सब आएगा, आप लोग ये सब अनुभव कर सकते हैं। एक बार दीक्षा ले लिया उसके बाद अगर अपराध नहीं करेंगे तो ये अनुभव करना आसान है हमारा आचार्य परंपरा के अंदर।
मुझे मेरा कभी कभी आता लेकिन थोड़ा देर में चला जाता हूँ।
हाँ, ऐसे ही रहेगा। वो भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में लिखा है कि ऐसे शुरू होगा और एकदम चला जाता है, एक पल के लिए आता है चला जाता है। इस तरह धीरे 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 जब हम आगे बढ़ेंगे तो वो स्थिर रह जाता है आकर के, परमानेंट होगा।
जय
जय।
Sadhu Sangha, Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha is initiation. Then we have Bhajana Kriya is the promise which we are making in the fire yajna for practicing Krishna conscious and regulative principles. Then उसके बाद हम शुरू करेंगे तो अनर्थ निवृत्ति हो जाएगा। अनर्थ निवृत्ति के बाद धीरे धीरे से हमको पूरा अनर्थ जाने के बाद निष्ठा, फिक्स्ड अपनेस आ जाएगा। उसके बाद बहुत रुचि आएगा कृष्ण भक्ति में, क्या क्या है, नाम में भी बहुत रुचि आएगा। देन वो रुचि बहुत अटैचमेंट हो जाएगा, कृष्ण भक्ति के ऊपर बहुत अटैचमेंट आ जाएगा। उस अटैचमेंट के बाद हमको बाबा आएगा। देन बाबा में ये सिम्टम्स धीरे धीरे से स्ट्रॉन्ग सिम्टम्स। टीयर्स तो पहले स्टार्टिंग में भी श्रद्धा में भी थोड़ा टीयर्स आएगा। श्रद्धा, साधु संगा, भजन क्रिया इस टाइम में भी टीयर्स आएगा समटाइम्स, बट बाकी ये स्ट्रॉन्ग सिम्टम्स विल कम लेटर ड्यूरिंग बाबा एंड देन प्रेमा। Yeah. Sometimes you see only 1 or 2 symptoms. एक समय सिर्फ hairs stand on the body. 600. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the 8 symptoms appear at a time.
Wow.
When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing, so only immediately any pure devotee sees it, they will identify he is not an ordinary person. Because he is in the mood of Radharani. Radharani Ma is Maha Bhavamayi. Radharani alone will get a Bhava that is Maha Bhava. Very high level of Bhava. And she wants to give this to all the ordinary living entities. That is why Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give this Krishna Prem to us. Krishna Prema Pradayate.
और रूप गोस्वामी ने बताया इसका क्या बोलते हैं, बहुत ही विस्तारण किया है कि जिस तरह अनुभव करते हमको जो प्रेम का अनुभव करना शुरू करेंगे तो जो आत्मा है, जो सोल्स है, वो हम ये देह है इसका कोई विचार नहीं होगा। हम इस शरीर के साथ हम अपने आप को कभी पहचान नहीं पाएंगे। हम अपने आप को कृष्ण के साथ जो रिश्ता है उसी के आधार पे हम अपने आप को पहचानेंगे और कृष्ण को ही देखेंगे। और इस हालत में ये सब होना शुरू करेगा। उस समय जब हम इस बॉडी में रहते हैं तो ये बॉडी जो है ये पंचभूत के साथ बना हुआ है। इसलिए जब वो आत्मा उस समय जब हम ये बॉडी अर्थ जो है, अर्थ मतलब भूमि, पृथ्वी, वो उसका बोलते हैं पंचभूत में व्हाट इज दैट,
Bhumi, Apo, Analo, Vayu, what
Bhumi.
water, fire, air.
जब ये आत्मा भूमि के साथ कांटेक्ट होता है उस समय जो फर्स्ट सिम्टम आता है स्टंट को क्या बोलते हैं, स्तंभित हो जाना। उस समय वो स्तंभित होता है। उसके बाद जब वो पानी के साथ कांटेक्ट करता है ये आत्मा, उस समय उसका आंखों से आंसू बहाना शुरू हो जाता है। ये आत्मा जब इसके साथ जो भौतिक के साथ संपर्क करना शुरू करेगा तो ये सिम्टम आता है जिसका प्रेम है उसको। तो भौतिक भूमि के साथ संबंध रहता है तो एकदम स्तंभित हो जाता है। उसके बाद पानी के साथ संबंध होने से एकदम आंखों से आंसू आना शुरू हो जाता है। उसके बाद जब आग के साथ संबंध हुआ उसको जो सांस जो है फूल जाता है। उसके बाद जब वो स्काई आकाश के साथ संबंध होता है तो पूरा निर्मूल हो जाता है। उसके बाद जब वो हवा के साथ संबंध होता है तो बॉडी में शिवरिंग ट्रेम्बलिंग होता है। उसको हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं पता नहीं।
कंपन of the body.
उसके साथ
The previous one, trembling of the body, is by what?
by contacting the atma, contacting with air.
Okay.
शरीर का कंपन।
When contacting with the air, trembling, उसके बाद हमारा जो साउंड है, शब्द है, उसका गिर जाना और जो शरीर के ऊपर रोम रोम खड़ा हो जाना, ये तीनों सिम्टम जो है जब ये आध्यात्मिक रूप का जो प्रेमी है वो हवा के साथ जब संबंध होता है ये तीनों होता है। तो इस तरह इसका अनुभव जो है किया जा सकता है। Thank you. So, are there any other questions of realization? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So, very nice discussion, very advanced level discussion. Thank you very much. We'll wind up and join back sharp 5 o'clock tomorrow morning and by chanting the holy name of the Lord and followed by Srimad Bhagavatam class.
We are advising everybody to read Upadesamrita and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Upadesamrita has to be compulsory reading or nectar of instruction. And of course, possible nectar of devotion, but nectar of instruction everybody should read. Okay,
very good. Thank you so much. ये स्लाइड में आपको ये जो किस तरह ये भौतिक शरीर में वो उसका हम अनुभव करेंगे वो भी दिखा दिया. Very nice. Thank you, Shantagu.
When we finish Milwaukee to Mayapur, Rajeshwara Prabhu can give a seminar on nectar of instruction. I think in 1 weekend we can finish a full book.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Is that okay, Rajeshwara Prabhu?
Yes, yes, sure.
Okay.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna.
Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaj ki jai.